Well, hello there, ladies and gents. I'm Tammy Sapnewski. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. Welcome to part 2 of my LumaFusion Masterclass. Now that we have all of our footage on the iPad, the fun part begins where we can open LumaFusion and get working with it. Let's go ahead and launch LumaFusion. If you're launching your LumaFusion for the very first time, it may look a little different. You'll come to a welcome screen. It will ask you if you want to watch a few tutorials. That's up to you. And we are just going to jump in right from here. So when you're looking at the LumaFusion interface, down here, all of these files, these are the different videos that I've worked on. This is your project manager. This is where all of your different videos are going to be held. In the upper left-hand corner, this is where you're going to pull your footage from. As I said, I just put everything into the photo roll, so we're going to look through the photos. You can also work off of your iCloud, and you can also work from an external hard drive. At any time when you're working with LumaFusion, if you get lost or confused, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little toggle wheel with a question mark inside of it. You press that down, and that is going to overlay a map detailing what each icon is. So let's start our first project by hitting the plus symbol. This is going to ask us to name our project. And once you've named your project, it's going to ask you for the particulars of that video clip, the frame rate and the aspect ratio that you filmed it with. I film with a Canon camera, and generally those are about 23.98 or typically 24 frames a second. So we can choose exactly what it is. And the aspect ratio, it's generally the 16:9 landscape. Let's say you film something on your phone in portrait, you can choose that. There's a lot of different things to choose from, and I know it looks like it's a lot, but here's the good news. You don't have to choose any of that. You can just allow LumaFusion to analyze the very first clip that you bring in, and we'll make the whole project based on that clip. So to start that project, we're just going to hit the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. So here's our first project. It's not looking like much now, but hold on a second. Let me open up my photo roll, and to do that, we're going to hit the file that says all photos. Now I am just going to grab one of these video clips by pressing and holding it and bringing it down to the timeline so that we can have all of these icons illuminated and I can tell you what each one is. So looking at your LumaFusion interface, there's a couple things that you can know right off the back. You can manipulate this interface to make some sections larger and some sections smaller. There's a little upside down gray T that is right there, tucked in the corner there. You can press and hold that. You can scan this out to make your photos bigger. You can pull it up this way to make your timeline bigger. Pull it down this way to make the preview window bigger. But I know for me, when I first started working in LumaFusion, sort of looked like that. And I got used to having it that way, so that's the way I keep it. Now down here on the very bottom, all of these icons, this is going to be known as your toolbar. The first icon on the bottom left-hand side of the screen is the project browser. When you hit that, that is going to open up your project manager. Touching it again will close it and bring it back to the project you're working in. The next icon over is for the headers. You can tap that to collapse it and tap it again to expand it. What you can do from the headers icon is have complete control over all of the different layers that are in your project. And in LumaFusion, you can have a total of 6 video layers and 6 audio layers. Unless you have less layers of video, let's say you're only working with 2 layers of video, in that case, you could have up to 10 layers of audio. Let's take a little look into the headers. Now, as you can see, it has 4 icons that are on the one main timeline layer. A speaker, an eye, a lock symbol, and an arrow. If you hit the speaker, it's going to be illuminated yellow with a yellow slash through it. That means it's going to mute that layer. The next icon over, the eye, that is going to basically mute the video of that layer. The little lock button, of course, lock it down. You won't be able to do anything with it. And the last icon over the arrow with the line, if you tap that, you're going to notice that the timeline appears purple now. This is going to allow you to insert or overwrite on the main timeline. I'll go a little more in depth than that a little later. Moving along with the toolbar, the next icon, that is going to bring up the mixers. And that's basically the audio for that main timeline or any other layers that you have. Right from here, you can control the audio. You could bring the audio down or increase it. To restore anything to its zeroed out point where you hadn't done anything at all, you would just double tap it and that will return it to 0. Moving down the line on the toolbar, we come to a box with a plus sign in it. This is the duplicate icon. Anything that you have highlighted, if you hit duplicate, you guessed it, it's going to make a duplicate copy of that video or audio. Anything you have highlighted, you can duplicate. Moving on down, there's a box with what looks like audio waves in it. Anything that you have highlighted, if you touch that box, that is going to detach the audio from your video and bring it down into the audio section. And that is anything that is below your main timeline. Now, just because you've dropped it out of the video doesn't mean that you took it out of the video. The audio is still in the video. You can just now see it a little more clearly in this green box. Moving down the toolbar, the next icon sort of looks like a chain, and that is for linking and unlinking. As we drop the audio line from the video, at the very beginning, you'll notice that it's attached by a little white line. That's the indicator that something is linked. So if I wanted to erase this video by throwing it in the garbage can, that's going to throw everything away that had anything to do with that video clip. Let me hit undo again. Now, if I unlink that, I'll tap the unlink button. If I throw away the video now, the audio will still be left there because it wasn't linked to the video. Let me hit undo and I will relink that. Moving down the toolbar, we come to another icon that looks like a pencil. Anything that's highlighted, when you tap the pencil, that is going to bring you over into an additional editing window. I'm not going to show you anything in here just yet. I'm going to go back. Now, besides the pencil, if we wanted to get back into that editing window, all we would have to do is double tap a clip, and that will bring us back to the same editing window. Moving down the toolbar, we come to a page with a star on it. Now, this is going to bring us into the presets, so we'll just click that. The first one are going to be effects, whether it's transitions or maybe some color effects. And we're going by the icons on the top of this box now. Moving over from here, you're going to notice what looks like a shaky box. That's actually a video stabilizer. That's something that was with LumaFusion's newest update. Moving down, we could get to motion. So if we have some built-in effects and saved in the interface, we could apply those right from here. No need to go into that secondary editing window. Moving over again, we get to audio waves. And this is going to bring us into some audio effects. With LumaFusion's newest update, there's a lot of things that they added into the audio section. So that's going to be exciting to go over. Moving down, the next icon is of a clipboard. This, very handy. This is going to enable you to copy and paste certain elements from one clip into another clip. This layer that's directly above the timeline, I quickly did a little color grading and color correction to, and also some video stabilization. And you can see the clip doesn't have any of that. So let's say I wanted to transfer the information of that clip onto this different video clip. All I would do is make sure that video is highlighted. I come down to the clipboard and I am going to hit copy. All of these different icons that are illuminated blue stand for something. Everything from frame and fit, motions, the audio, and the colors and effects. So I am going to just hit copy. Let's say I want to take everything, and then I come down and highlight the main timeline. I'm going to hit the clipboard again, and now I'm going to hit paste. And that's going to transfer all of that information onto my raw video. Continuing down the timeline, we come to a box with a check in it. That is our Multiselect tool. Now, as you can imagine, being the Multiselect tool, it enables you to select a lot of clips all at once. So we'll go ahead and tap that. and you'll notice some white brackets appear up here. And we can move these brackets to select whatever it is that we want. If we don't want to use the brackets, we can just use individual tapping. This may not look very exciting now, but it actually is very exciting because not only can you select multiple things at once, but it allows you to use this multi-select to copy and paste things from different projects. To demonstrate, I am going to open up the project manager and I'm going to go down to one of my where I've built my own title packs. And from here, I am going to choose the multi-select tool again. Now, same thing, I could either use the brackets right here, or I could manually go and highlight the different things that I want to copy and paste. Now that the title's been highlighted by the multi-select tool, I want to come down to the clipboard and I'm going to hit copy. And now I'm going to go back to my original project. Now, before I go ahead and paste this title onto this project, this blue line that's right in the middle is known as the playhead. When you paste something, it is going to paste it wherever the playhead is. Let's say I wanted to paste the title at exactly 3 seconds in. I would scrub through the clip by pressing and holding down and going to the 3-second mark. Then I would come down to the clipboard and now I'll hit paste. And that's going to drop in that title. And as you can see from the white lines extending down from the title onto the video clips, this is now linked to the main timeline. Moving down the toolbar, we come to the next icon that looks like scissors. Scissors are going to allow you to cut, or otherwise known as split. The splitting of clips or audio will only happen where the playhead is. If none of your clips are highlighted and you hit the scissors, that is going to split everything that's in the project at that playhead. I'll hit undo. Let's say we wanted to split one clip in particular. Then we would highlight that clip and then hit the scissors to split. That will only cut that one layer. Moving on down to the next icon, you see a plus in a circle. And when you tap that, that is going to bring up a fly-up menu. And from here, you can add in a voiceover, a transition, or a title. Moving down again, we come to the garbage can. That's where you throw things away. Being that this clip is highlighted, I will just duplicate that by hitting the duplicate button. And let's say I wanted to get rid of the layer beneath it, I would highlight that and just throw it in the garbage can. Moving down the toolbar, we come to the last 3 icons. This icon represents your layouts. So if you tap that, it enables you to change the layout of the interface. You can switch up where everything is, the size of different things. The upper left hand is the default. Moving down is a square with an up arrow, and that is the share button. So when you hit the share button, that's going to bring up a fly-up menu. This is how you're going to export your finished video either to YouTube or back to your photo roll or to your cloud. There's a few different ways that you can export your projects. You can do it as a finished movie. You can export the audio only. You can export it as a project package. Let's say you wanted to share one project between devices. That's the feature that you would use to take this project off your iPad and send it on over to your iPhone. This XML project package, so you could start a project in LumaFusion and send it off to finish it in Final Cut Pro. On the last icon, it says snapshot. Whatever image is in your preview window, when you hit snapshot, it's going to take a picture of that and send it over to your photo roll. I use this feature a lot to make my thumbnails, and I'll just demonstrate that right now. And as you can see, that picture has been added to my photo roll. The last icon is the cogwheel with the question mark. Just tap it once. That is going to bring up your settings and system preferences. Moving over to preferences. Now on this page, there's just a couple things that I recommend that you change. The number of your project backups could be anywhere. I think it's 3 when you first start. That's a lot of different backups. I always just keep 1 because that's going to take up less room on your device. 1 backup should be enough unless you think for some reason you're going to accidentally delete your backup. Then I would move it to 2, but I think 3, that's a lot. Also, you can see whenever I touch the screen, there's this blue dot that's illuminated. You can have that too by going down to user interface and show touches. If you highlight it, it will then show that blue dot. Moving down again, you come to cleanup, and this will show you exactly how much you're working with in LumaFusion between all of your projects combined. I have 84 gigs in mine, so you can see I use LumaFusion a lot. The next one is help. And from here, you can get to different tutorial videos, their reference guide, if you need to reach out to chat with customer support, review LumaFusion, upload project to support. Let's say you're having an issue with LumaFusion and you want to get some feedback from the creators over there at LumaFusion, you would use this to share your project. Now we've covered the toolbar. So now we'll move on to the rest of the interface just so that you have a complete understanding of everything you're working with on the home screen. Everything that's down on your main timeline, you're going to be able to see a smaller mapping of it right up here that's underneath the preview window. And you can scrub through your entire timeline by moving back and forth this white little playhead up here. A feature that is going to be very, very important to you is this little back arrow known as the undo button. So let's say I wanted to duplicate something. I'll just duplicate it. And let's say that I accidentally split it and threw that piece away. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I wish I didn't do it. All you have to do is hit that undo button, and that will undo your last action. And of course, you could continue to hit the undo to continue reversing your other actions until you've gotten back to where you started from. Beside the undo button is the redo button. So of course, if you've accidentally erased too much, you could just hit that arrow and that will undo your undo. Coming over to the upper left-hand side, this is where all of your media is going to be displayed. If you look up here, you'll be able to see the difference between videos and pictures. Right next to a video is going to look like a film roll, and pictures are going to be represented by what looks like a picture with a landscape. And the icon that's on the bottom right over here of the media window, this is going to allow you to change up the view and the order of your media. All too much, it's too confusing. You can change it to make it so that each clip has its own little line and the writing is a little bigger. And down here it says ascending and descending. If you keep it over here at descending, it will show you the newest ones first. I recommend just keeping it at descending. And then over here is a magnifying glass, and that usually denotes you can search for something. But if you notice, there's really not much to go by because all of your clips are going to be named with numbers. Unless you know the specific number of that clip, that search bar isn't too handy. Moving over, you'll notice a white dot and a circle. This is going to bring up color tags, and the icon right next to it is Multiselect. Let's say I've shot a lot of B-roll for a video, and I want to make sure that the B-roll is highlighted so that I can recognize it. I could use the Multiselect over here and choose all of the B-roll, and I could color them with a different color. So when I officially start editing my project about this light, I can right away notice, okay, this is the B-roll that I'm looking for. Let's say you're looking for a certain clip. You want something out of a certain clip, but you're not sure which one it is. You could tap the clip once, and that will bring that clip over into the preview window. You could grab that little white playhead and scrub through that entire clip. You know what, let me use this little clip of my cat right here. Now this entire clip of my cat is like 1 minute and 15 seconds long. At one point she did a cute little meow. Oh, right there. Now let's say I just wanted that cute little meow, which happens at 1 minute and 3 seconds. You see these little yellow brackets on either side of the preview window? These are the in and out points of that clip. We can actually tighten up the in and out points to just bring in the part of the clip that we want. And we do that by tapping and holding and dragging it down. That's going to be our in point. And then I grab the other one. Now to bring that down into the project, I can just tap it and hold it. And I can either just drop it on the timeline or add it to any one of the layers up here. Or let's say I just wanted the little meow sound effect. I can actually bring it below the main timeline, and then it's only going to be audio. You can see it's green. Let's say I want to bring it back up here. It will now be blue to indicate that it's a video, green for audio, blue for video. And you'll notice, looking at the clip in the media window again, there's going to be a little yellow line. That's going to indicate that that portion of the video is now in my project. Let's check out this icon. It's an eye with a circle around it. So let's hit that, and that is going to bring up your basic information about this video clip. And that pops up in a little gray bar with writing in it. And at the end, there's 3 little white dots. If you hit that, that will bring up all of the metadata about your clip. Any one of the lines that has a pencil by it means that you can change it. So you can see this clip is named with just an MVI name. We'll hit the pencil, and I will choose Libby. And that will change the clip's name to Libby. I can add a note if I want. Meow. And now the fun part with color tags. I can choose a different color for this clip. So let me choose purple for Libby. And you can see the clip now matches the color that I chose. To close down this menu, we just hit the eye again. Moving down, there is an upside down arrow with a plus sign in it. This will allow you to put markers anywhere you want in your project. So let's say I wanted to, right there where she does the little meow, if I wanted to mark that, I could hit that, and that will put that marker there. And anytime you scrub through the timeline, if you stop at that marker, it will tell you exactly what it is. And if you wanted to get rid of that marker, you would hit that icon again, and you can see it's now an arrow with an X in it. The next icon down has to do with something called Frame.io. This is where people work on one particular project all together remotely. So let's say I wanted to send this project to someone and make notes in it. This is what you would use to make notes inside of the project. Let me just tap it once so you can see what I'm talking about. You could bring up the keyboard and say, cut from here, or take the audio out, and just, leave a bunch of notes and hit done. This way, when the person gets the project after you, they're like, oh, they left a note. What did they say? And they could see what it says and either fix it, color grade it, whatever it is. But I'm not doing that, so I'll hit the garbage pail to get rid of that. Moving down, we come to the commands of the preview window. Of course, if we hit play, it's going to start playing it from there. And the arrows from here, we can go to the beginning of the clip or the end of the clip just by hitting the arrows. Or if we wanted to go to the very beginning, not of just the clip, but of the whole project, we would double tap that arrow. Or if we wanted to get back to the end, we would double tap the right arrow. Moving over to the last icon on the preview window is going to be the insert button. So let me put a different clip up there. There's a few different ways to insert a clip onto your project. You can tap it and hold it from the media window and drag it anywhere you want on your project. Or you tap on it once, that will bring it over to the preview window. Now we start working with it from the preview window. Let's go over to this icon now. If you tap it and hold it, another menu is going to fly out. You have 3 different options. You can insert it to the main timeline, overwrite the main timeline with this clip, or place it on a secondary layer, meaning a layer above the timeline. So if we hit insert to main, it's going to put it on the main timeline right behind the clip that's before it. If we choose overwrite to main, it will overwrite the clip that's already on the main timeline. And the last one, it says place on secondary. If you hit that, it's going to place the clip above the main timeline. So we'll hit that. And as you can see, there it is right there. Let me go back to that clip and I'll hit that arrow again to show you what's happened. Now we're missing an option where it says write to secondary. Because as you can see, wherever we have that playhead is where it's going to want to drop that in. And there's no room for this clip. So that option is no longer there. Getting to the very last icon on this one page, we can tap that. And see, we have some options here. We can rename this clip. We can edit the notes of this clip. And also, this is another area where we can import some media. So let's hit that. If you're working with an external hard drive, you would be able to bring footage in from that drive with this media source window. You have other options here as well. Your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your files, meaning your cloud. So let's say you have a source folder inside of your cloud. You would just hit files, and that will bring up all of the different folders in your cloud. Let's say you wanted to not X out of this menu, but to go back, you would just tap that import media again, and that will bring you to this window. And to get out of it, you would just hit the X. Now I'd like to do a little basic navigation around the rest of LumaFusion. So let's pick a clip, and I will choose the clip of my cat. Let's say I want to color correct and color grade it. Now remember, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. I can just double tap on that clip, or I can highlight the clip and hit the pencil. Now here's a whole new menu of icons, but you'll notice that we no longer have the little help menu. Once we come into this window, we can navigate to anywhere else that we want to go into the interface. As you can see, colors and effects is highlighted blue, so that's where we are right now. If we wanted to work with the audio, we would hit the little speaker icon. The next icon over is video stabilizer. The next icon over from here is speed and reverse. Let's say you filmed something in slow motion, we would be able to change up the speed of that. Or we could actually reverse the clip from here just by tapping reverse. And then the last icon over is frame and fit. And frame and fit is where you can manipulate the video. You can make the video bigger, you can make the video smaller, we could crop the video in, we can make the video spin around. There's a lot of different, we could fade it in and out, but if we want to color grade and color correct, that is going to be done over at color and effects. Now on this window, you're going to see icons over here. This is going to be your color presets. Right next to that, there's a little cube, and that is going to be where your LUTs are stored. Now, it looks like a little cube because whenever you have a LUT, it's under a .cube format, typically. Moving over, we have another option where we could put a vignette on something if you wanted. You know, some people like the vignette look. Or moving down, if you wanted to make it look like a comic book. How cute is that, right? A lithograph. Water drop, you can add a Gaussian blur, motion, sharpen, unsharpen. Over here, crystallize, kaleidoscope. Next one over, the little key is for chroma key or green screening. And then the next one over is a star, and that is where you can build presets directly in LumaFusion and save them here. Obviously, some of this stuff I don't want to keep here. I was just hitting it to demonstrate it. If I wanted to take anything away, on the line that was added, see that little garbage can? Boom, you just throw it away. The comic, we're going to throw that away.